is higher than he has done throughout this tournament. He's up the order a little bit. Milind Gubar has come into the side, and he's gone down to number 6. No Monak Patel. Really sad for him. He's missed a few games now, the skipper, after starting so well. But it brings a left-handed Anderson, formerly of New Zealand, of course. At one point, the holder of the fastest century in one-day international cricket. He's not had a great deal to do in this campaign, really, which is testament to just how well the USA have played. He's not been as prominent as you might have expected. If someone told you the USA were in the Super 8s and acquitting themselves so well, you'd think he might have had a big part to play, but he hasn't really. As Alzarri Joseph has a slip in place, the left-handed Anderson defends into the onside, fielded up at mid-on, end of the over. 8 overs gone, 60 for 3. Aaron Jones has 7. Anderson yet to score the wicket in that over of Andries Goes.
Well, Peter earlier was talking about how, you know, the USA are really interested in cricket now. Now they've got through to the Super 8s and there's been more interest than usual. And one that's got me over the last couple of days is GQ.
Oh, yeah.
Flown somebody out to cover this World Cup. He did an interview with Corey Anderson just this morning. Greg from GQ.
I think I met Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, big lad with the beard.
Yeah,
I like Greg.
Me too, but to see GQ coming out, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. GQ.
Greg's a nice bloke as well.
He is a nice bloke, Greg. As Moti's in, that's cut away out through backward point. They're going to get one. They'll think of a second. They're coming back for the second. This could be tight, but the throw is not wayward exactly, but a little slow to come. So they 2 more to the total. 62 for 3. Yeah, I think I saw Greg downstairs actually. He was tucking into the fish. He was very happy with the fish.
Yeah.
He was very happy yesterday, wasn't he? I think I saw him cavorting.
Yeah. Well.
in the sea. As Moti's in again, and there's this reverse sweep attempted by Aaron Jones and played awfully well. Ball just cannons off a bit of his body and runs away to short fine. They don't get a run.
Well bowled, quicker delivery. 98 kilometres an hour.
I do like the way the USA have gone about this, though. They have taken the attack to the West Indies. They've lost those 3 crucial wickets, but they're not going to die wondering. Now, a sweep from Jones, but it picks out deep backward square, almost long leg, really. And the throw comes in from Alzarri Joseph. He still hasn't quite got over the indignity of being hit for 6, you know. He's still got a slightly sour look on his face. 63 for 3.
Yeah, he's not happy, is he? He's really not happy out there. I don't know why. Sometimes you can get so caught up in the moment of if you're not performing well. He didn't even celebrate a wicket when he did get a wicket, which was pretty strange.
No, it didn't even look like vindication, did it? There was nothing but determination. Moti into the left-handed Anderson, who drives back to the bowler. Crowd catch, a bump ball, but nicely grabbed by Moti.
And he's bowled nicely here as well, mixing up his pace. Every single delivery is different.
He's in with this scurrying approach, and the next ball has just worked out towards deep extra cover. There'll be just the one. Jones thought of a second, it wasn't there. 64 for 3. He's got quite a fussy approach. There's so little bits of shimmying and arms and legs.
Well, we often talk about being consistently inconsistent with your lines and your lengths in T20 cricket to stop you being predictable, and he's bowled anywhere from 85 kilometres an hour to 102 in this over.
Yeah, that is a big difference. As down the wicket comes Jones, and he drives along the ground up to a wide long off. Just be the one. End of the over, 5 from it. 65 for 3, the USA. 9 overs gone. Jones has 11. Anderson 1. That last ball was 109. It's the fastest of the lot.
Well, what he's done really nicely is he's bowled quick back of a length, so the batters can't get underneath him. Then they can't find the boundary. They can't hit the boundaries because not only is the ball back of a length, but it's also then going to rush you. So as a left-arm spinner, you often want to hit the splice of the bat, whether or not you're going quick into the pitch or slower, depending on what the surface has to offer. And he's done that very well in that over, and only 5 runs coming off it. It's a little win for the West Indies there.
There's plenty of spinners in this West Indies lineup. This is not the West Indies that Fazir was referring to back in 1988. It's not Croft, Garner, Holding, Marshall, Roberts, Bishop, Ambrose, Walsh, none of that. It's a West Indies of 3 spinners, and Roston Chase was very effective against England the other night, the off-spinner. From around these parts, he's a Bajan, and he gets a wicket. First ball. Jones, swinging across the line. Misses a straight one, didn't give himself a chance to look. You miss, I hit. Roston Chase on the money straight away. The USA lose their 4th, a big wicket to lose as well. They're 65 for 4. Jones goes for 11.
Yeah, it's not a great shot from Aaron Jones. It's a great delivery. Just angles the ball into the stumps, targeting the stumps. It actually hits Aaron Jones himself and then goes back onto the stumps. But just looking to sweep the ball into the leg side, loses his shape. We often talk about having your head still when you're playing the sweep shot. He didn't then. And it's a huge wicket, that, because Aaron Jones was brilliant against Canada in the opening game, and he hit a humongous 6 just a couple of overs ago, and you feel like that is a big moment in this game.
It's a rush of blood, isn't it, really? I mean, you have a look against Roston Chase, by which I mean a ball. The problem is that Aaron Jones, I think, is thinking this is the perfect matchup for me. I've got a off-break bowler who doesn't really turn it. I've got a shortish leg side boundary. That's where I like to hit. That's where I've hit like 9 of the 10 sixes I hit against Canada. Eyes lit up. But it was a bit flatter than that. It was 94 kilometers an hour, and it was straight. It may just have brushed his back thigh and then went onto the leg stump. It was straight enough, though, and he missed it. And it's a big, big blow for the USA. Chase now with Milind Kumar on strike. Down the leg side, and he chooses to play a little flicky glance at it. It goes to short, fine. But Andre Russell does the fielding, and they get a single.
And he just clears his front leg so much. Steps right outside leg stump, doesn't he? Big old heave across the line.
Yep. Off the first ball, Roston Chase, a Bajan. The man who was at the other end when the greatest line of commentary ever produced on television came out of the mouth of my colleague away to my left. Roston Chase is in. This is worked up to a long on for a single. The circumstances, if you're not aware, if you're not aware, you've been living under a rock for the last 10 years, but or you might just not be aware of a match between the West Indies and Pakistan, in which Roston Chase was unbeaten on 100 at one end, and Shannon Gabriel had 1 ball left to survive. And then there was 1 over left in the game, and then a shot was played that caused Fazir some conniptions, as it did many watching on. Chase is in down the leg side, well left by Milind Kumar, gets the wide, speared in down that leg side.
Well, Faz only said what we were all thinking.
He did, but he said it so quite brilliantly.
Yeah.
It was a howl of anguish that rang out across the world as this next ball is tickled away fine to Andre Russell, and Dre Russ is an elder statesman of this side now, and he stands at short fine, and he literally does stand at short fine, and the ball will come to him when it comes to him, and
well,
you choose to run.
There is always a run to short fine, unless you absolutely nail it, but it's always not the most agile fielder.
Anderson drives slightly aerially briefly, which is why you heard the shout of catch it, but Powell couldn't quite get to it. It just landed a yard or so in front of him, and there's no run. 69 for 4, the score remains. Last ball of the 10th, then we'll be halfway through. And Anderson works this, not past Chase, who moves nimbly to his left to field. A good first over from Roston Chase. Just the 4 from it, including a wide, but crucially, the wicket of Aaron Jones, the man who's been one of the stars of this USA lineup in this World Cup. And Stuart Law is walking out, the coach, not exactly with a face like thunder, but with a fair bit to ponder. The USA have taken the game to the West Indies here, Alex Hartley, but they've lost 4 wickets in the process, and I guess the concern is what they've got left to come. Harmeet Singh hits a long ball, certainly, and Shabli van Schalkwijk can give it a bit. That's easy for me to say. But a lot here, you would think, resting on Corey Anderson.
Yeah, I think this partnership's crucial, isn't it? If these two can stay out for another 4 overs or so, and we're getting the most magnificent light show here.
It's like being in India again.
It is. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
This World Cup song is so good as well. I was dancing around to it yesterday.
Were you?
Yeah.
Amaze me.
I love the West Indies. I don't want to leave.
Well, you don't have to for a while, don't worry. Say something about that. So here we go, light show. What this seems to involve is that lots of people have got their phones out, so you can see lots of phone lights, and then the floodlights are flashing, and they're funny floodlights, these. They've got a vertical strip of 2 lights, and then horizontal strip, which are different colours. Got reds and greens and light blues. I'm telling you this, I'm colourblind. I'm making it up as I go along.
There was a lot of talk about the light shows in India during that World Cup, though, because batters then having to readjust again to the light. And Glenn Maxwell spoke about it, didn't he? He said it. And then we actually found that batters were covering their eyes during the light show because it took them so long to then readjust again. So it'd be interesting to see how this goes, but I think it's brilliant. This World Cup song that the ICC have put together is absolutely fantastic. It's an absolute banger.
Well, the light, I think this is a more modest light show. By modest, I mean it's a bit more sensitive than the ones we had in India. The ones in India were really flashing lights. You know, you need to be a little bit careful, actually. Whereas this, it's a slightly more gentle in and out of light and dark. And now there is light there. Let there be light once more. There's something strangely biblical about it all. As the drinks go off, the trainers go off, we're going to start some cricket again. But that was good fun. Lights everywhere. Maybe you can describe the colours, because it's...
You did well, to be fair.
Did I get away with it?
Greens, and yeah, you got away with it.
And yellow and ochre and something and what's it? That's a Joseph the Technicolor Dreamcoat reference. Right, more from you, Alex Harley, and then take you through the next 5 overs. It's going to be fuzzy at Mohammed.
Well, yeah, they'll have been talking the USA on how they're going to go about setting a decent total here. If they go at 10 runs and over, they will get another 100, so make it 169. But these 2 out there in the middle, they're going to be key. Corey Anderson, he's going to be key. As Dan was saying, he's not actually played a massive part in the team, so far in this World Cup for USA, but he is capable. He is a very, very good player. And he was the one that everyone had heard of before this World Cup, and now everybody's heard of everyone because they have been fantastic so far throughout this World Cup. But as I say, this partnership here is going to be key, and the West Indies will know that.
Absolutely, and they've got to be keyed in to what is likely to happen if Corey Anderson can get off to a flyer. Milind Kumar, though, facing up to the first delivery of over number 11 from Andre Russell, pushes it away towards the onside after that brief light show. And indeed, you know, many people say, well, you know, all of that is showmanship and it's Broadway stuff, but this is entertainment. This is what the game is moving towards. Whether you love it or hate it, the fact is that sport ultimately is entertainment, and you've got to really tap into that.
And if you look at how they do baseball, they do things like that all the time, and the crowd love it.
Russell in again, bowls to Kumar, short of this very staid and serious, and you know, something that is so important. Get into reality, wake up to reality, and appreciate that it's still at the end of it all entertainment. As Russell bowls and Kumar guiding this one away, very fine, down towards third man, will get one. A slide from Obed McCoy to save the boundary, but they'll come back for the second. So he moves on with that couple of runs to 4, 71 for 4 in the 11th over.
Yeah, we often used to, you know, if we were having a bad day, or you know, everyone.
Down the leg side, the wide should be called. It is by umpire Palakar to take the score up to 72 for 4 in over number 11. Milind Kumar on 4, Corey Anderson on 2. And for the West Indies, a good first 10 overs, and despite some bright moments for the USA after they were put in, the early loss of Stephen Taylor to the bowling of Andre Russell, and that set them back. Of course, Aaron Jones, the stand-in captain, with Monank Patel virtually ruled out now, gone as well. Next delivery is driven back along the pitch towards the bowler. And you almost sense, in the case of Taylor and Aaron Jones, that they were almost wanting to try too hard because of the connection with the Caribbean, Stephen Taylor with Jamaica, Aaron Jones here in Barbados, that it's almost as if the occasion got the better of them.
Yeah, and that can happen, you know, especially for Aaron Jones, who played a dirty hack across the line.
Here goes Russell, bowls to Kumar, looking to force it away through the offside, past the inside edge of the bat, through to Nicholas Pooran. But they've got to bring those emotions in check and recognize that, look, it's a game of cricket. You've got, 9 overs, and 1 ball. 55 deliveries to get probably another 70, 80, if you can, 90 runs to put the West Indies under pressure tonight at Kensington Oval.
Yeah, and this is where the West Indies have come back so well in the last 3 or 4 overs. We've had some quiet overs since the spin came on, and now Dre Russ.
As he continues from that Joel Garner end, bowls wide down the leg side, second wide in the over. That extends the over for the cause of the USA, which they'll appreciate. They'll take whatever they can get at this stage. Russell 1 for 11 in his second over. It was replaced pretty quickly by Obed McCoy at the southern end, the Malcolm Marshall end here at Kensington Oval. And as many would have mentioned already, not too often you'd see a full house here at Kensington Oval for the West Indies in action. But it's the World Cup, it's Super 8, as Russell bowls outside the off stump, played away, throw backward a point. That won't run away towards the boundary because Obed McCoy has made good ground. As the return comes in, the throw is to the non-striker's end. Looks as if Corey Anderson is safely home, but I'm sure umpire Palakar won't take any chance with that, as the throw was relayed by Puran as it came in from Obed McCoy at third man. Although it looks from this distance as if Corey Anderson was in, I'm sure the umpires won't want to take any chance.
No, they won't. No. It looked like he was safe, but it's one of those direct hits. It's going to be closer than we think. But the West Indies don't seem too interested, and that's always a good indicator if the fielders are ready for the next over. As we can see the replay on our screens now, Corey Anderson grounded his bat and he's home.
And I can hear, as we look at the replay, many people saying, well, why would an umpire even refer that? Well, I can tell you why. Because sometimes it can happen that the batsman, while coming into the crease, the bat might bubble up. Before it gets across the line, it might be in the air by just a fraction of a second, and he could be out of his ground. Anything could happen. As Roston Chase starts another over and it's played away into the offside for a single by Corey Anderson, moves on to 3. Score moves on to 76 for 4 in over number 12. I really have no issues with the umpires taking advantage of the technology, because you know if they get it wrong, we're going to be all over them.
Exactly. You have to use the technology that is provided.
Roston Chase with the wicket of Aaron Jones with his first delivery.
There's a sign in the crowd with the USA flag, and it says, "Cricket, like baseball but cooler."
Well, yes, it's a way to sell the game. It's a way to promote the game to a new audience in the USA. Delivery on leg stump, looking to swing it away, comes off the pad of Milind Kumar, taken by the keeper Nicholas Puran. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see. In time to come, we'll probably be able to look back and see if this World Cup of 2024 was like the Football World Cup of 1994 in the USA. Delivery on leg stump is turned away backward of square by Kumar for his 7th run, brings Anderson back in strike on 3, 77 for 4 in the 12th over. But if you could get GQ to come down here to follow the World Cup, I mean, what else do you need?
Exactly.
Vogue, Ebony?
Everyone will be here next time, won't they? They'll all be there.
Fielder just being adjusted by Chase, sending the short fine leg a bit finer. It's often described as 45. Well, he's probably at 40 right now. As Chase bowls on off stump, turning it away to Andrew Russell, who fumbles just a bit, but he was already committed to the single, was Nitish Kumar, even though Corey Anderson wasn't. And that fumble by Andrew Russell, who seems to be feeling that. And he's always carrying some sort of injury, is Andrew Russell. At this stage of his career, he's never really...
He's going to be about 65 now, hasn't he?
Exactly. He's not going to be anywhere near 100%. 78 for 4 in over number 12. And Chase will continue to Milind Kumar. The USA looking to get some momentum here, some acceleration, short of a length, not short enough for him to really latch onto it. Gets a single out towards the deep mid-wicket, and he moves on now to 8. That brings Anderson back in strike on 4, and so important for this pair to push this innings further, deep into the innings, towards the 17th, 18th, 19th overs.
Yeah, I think they've got to bat until at least 15, these two.
Chase round the wicket now, bowls to Anderson off the back foot, guiding it away square out towards the backward point for the single. He moves on to 5. Milind Kumar comes back in strike on 8, 80 for 4 at the end of over number 12. The USA put into bat by the West Indies.
Well, the West Indies have been impressive the last few overs. The USA actually got off to a little bit of a flyer. I thought they were on for a decent score, maybe that 180 that we've been speaking about. But if they can get around 150, it gives them something to bowl at. So these two will know they've got to just tick things over, stay there in the middle for a little bit longer, wait for that delivery that's in their slot. But the senior players, the spinners here for the West Indies, have been absolutely outstanding in just tightening things, putting the pressure on Corey Anderson out there in the middle.
And because these are home conditions, the West Indies are better equipped than many other teams to take advantage of these conditions. Kensington Oval is not what it was from many years ago, where it was really the sort of surface that encouraged the faster bowlers, that encouraged attacking batsmanship. Occasionally you'd get that sort of surface, but generally it's been a lot slower. As Obed McCoy takes over from the northern end, bowls outside the off stump, and Corey Anderson getting himself in a bit of a tangle, was almost waiting on the back foot to force it away through the offside, and then was cramped for room, seemed to just come off his body.
Yeah,
through
slower
to the
ball.
keeper. Yeah.
Slower ball, it just grips in the surface ever so slightly back towards Corey Anderson. Just takes him by surprise.
Man who had the flashing, blazing blade for New Zealand against the West Indies for that record 100 in one-day cricket. As McCoy bowls a full-length delivery that is stroked away out towards extra cover, but straight to the fielder. There's no run. And then, of course, that record was overtaken by one A.B. de Villiers, also against the West Indies in 2015 in Johannesburg. And the altitude at the Wanderers ground. But here at Kensington Oval, it's a different atmosphere. It's a celebratory one. It's one where the vast majority of fans are supporting the West Indies, but probably also looking for a good showing from the USA. As McCoy bowls full-length delivery that Anderson turns away through square leg. They settle on the single pretty early, and the score moves on now to 81 for 4 halfway through over number 13.
Yeah, it's good stuff from McCoy, good stuff from the West Indies. Been really impressed with how they're quick between the balls. So we've got right, left hand out there, and everybody knows where they're going. Everybody knows their jobs, their roles. There's no standing around going, where do you want me? Where do I need to be? They look totally in control, don't they, the West Indies? They do.
And credit to the authorities as well for coming in with this time limit. As McCoy bowls short of a length, and he's helping this one away backward of square. In fact, forward of square. Didn't get it as well as he wanted, Milind Kumar, but gets the single nevertheless out to Sherfane Rutherford, 82 for 4. And for those who'll be watching on your television screens, you'd see that graphic coming up every so often about whether a team is in front, ahead of what is required. And indeed, again, because you're marketing an entertainment product, you can't have things just dragging on and going on beyond a reasonable time.
No, you can't. A 60-second clock is a good thing.
As McCoy bowls to Anderson down the leg side, a bit of change of pace, but badly lined this time, so it's another wide. So the West Indies just giving away a few extra deliveries and extra runs here.
Yeah, we were speaking about how well they've bowled though. It's been 36 balls since the last boundary. So it's been a while for the USA. These two obviously building a partnership after Aaron Jones got out. But the West Indies have just slowed things down. 36 balls between boundaries is a long time.
Certainly in a T20 match, at some point they've got to accelerate. As McCoy bowls to Anderson, playing with the dead bat into the offside. So yet another delivery, yet another run. Anderson goes on to 7. Milind Kumar back in strike on 9. USA 84 for 4 with one delivery left in over number 13. And you can understand why there's that element of caution. But of course, at some point, they would have to decide, okay, one of us, if not both of us, have got to take them on.
Yeah, I think once they get to 15 overs, they'll start to look to accelerate. The danger is if one of them falls now, USA will most likely get bowled out before 120, and they'll want to try and get above that.
McCoy, last ball of the over, bowls outside the off stump, and it's played away backward of point for 1, will go away for 4. That was perfectly placed as far as getting you to the right of the short third man and to the left of the deep cover, ending the over with a boundary. Milind Kumar on 13, Anderson on 7, and the USA looking to stabilize their innings before that they can hopefully get some acceleration at 88 for 4.
Yeah, it was a great shot, wasn't it? Just open the face of the bat, just watching the ball onto the blade, open that face and guide the ball down pass backward point for 4. They needed that. It's been a while since the last boundary, as we were just talking about. So USA, they needed that short wide one there.
There's going to be a bit of a hold-up in play as Milind Kumar is calling for a change of headgear, which is one of the rarities these days.
I don't like it. I really don't like it. Getting rid of your helmet and putting a cap on. I think even when the spinners are on, it just takes you to get a top edge on a sweep shot. For me, it's just not worth it at all. You actually can't in the UK. In England, you have to wear a helmet at all times.
Okay, well, you're talking to someone who grew up in the era of there being no helmets at all. As Rustin Chase round the wicket goes to Anderson, and he's off the back foot, punching it but straight out to the captain, Rothman Powell at the extra cover. Scoring means at 88 for 4. But I certainly understand the health and safety issues that are fundamental to the game now. We've seen so many freakish injuries with the absence of a helmet. As he's looking to play the forcing shot, a loud appeal, and he's gone. Well, that's exactly what the USA did not want to happen. And even as he walks towards Milind Kumar to consult, there seems to be an air of resignation, and he is walking away. They're not going to review. They're not going to waste a review, as we saw earlier with Nitish Kumar. He goes LBW to Rustin Chase for 7. The USA slip into deeper trouble at 88 for 5 in the 14th over.
Yeah, there's a reason they haven't reviewed this. He's gone back deep in his crease. It's hit him in front of middle stump on the knee roll. You can't get more out than that. It's well bowled from Chase. And Corey Anderson struggled out there in the middle. 7 off 15 deliveries. Couldn't quite get the ball into the deep. Kept nailing the fielders. He's hitting the ball well, but always straight to the fielders. So he's tried to go deep in his crease to get the ball towards deep cover, towards extra cover, get off strike, but he just went back to a fuller delivery that's hit him on the knee roll.
And of course this match is one where the West Indies will be feeling a bit of pressure because obviously with the loss earlier to England, they lost quite comfortably to England, which would have affected their net run rate. And depending on how things go in their final match against South Africa, have won their second match, getting the better of England earlier today. And it was a really tense encounter in St. Lucia, and they held their nerve, not for the first time in this World Cup. We're seeing South Africa winning the tight ones. Will they be able to do so moving along? But because of that situation, the West Indies would be feeling more than just a bit of pressure here, because they don't want to slip up against a team seen as an underdog. And at the moment, they're really pulling back things very, very well. They've got things under control at 88 for 5. Harmeet Singh comes to the crease, the left-hander, faces up to Rustin Chase, a flight delivery, driving and caught. First ball going into the shot, not judging the pace, the bounce, not anything. Going right into the shot, taking a leading edge and a comfortable catch to short cover. 2 wickets in 2 balls, a third for Rustin Chase, and the USA in danger of being dismissed before the end of the 20 overs.
Well, it's a soft dismissal that from Harmeet Singh. It's a little bit slower from Chase. It's well bowled. He's bowling beautifully tonight. Just back of a length. He's looking to drive the ball into the covers. It's a little bit stoppy and just drives the ball straight to Johnson Charles, who takes a pretty simple catch. And although that partnership that involved Corey Anderson was a decent one for the USA, I feel like wickets are falling at the right time. But if you're a West Indies fan, a West Indies player, I tell you what, we've got a hat-trick ball. Indeed,
a hat-trick ball, and we saw a hat-trick from Pat Cummins in the match against Bangladesh.
He didn't even know about it. It was one of those fake hat-tricks though, wasn't it? It spread across 2 overs.
Indeed. Well, we've seen a few hat-tricks spread across a couple of innings.
They don't count. They do not count.
No. Let's not go there at all, Alex.
I've had them. They don't count.
I wish you all the best with that bit of campaigning. But indeed they do. But now he's on a hat-trick, is Rustin Chase. 88 for 6 in the 14th over. And the new man is Van Schalvik, who has come to the crease, introduced into the USA team for this match. And now he's facing up to the delivery with Rustin Chase on a hat-trick with a slip, a short extra cover and a backward point in place. Bowls to the left-hander on leg stump, turns it away backward a square to deny him the hat-trick opportunity, which would have been a genuine hat-trick if the others aren't genuine, as Alex is trying to convince me with not much success. But it's anyway 89 for 6 in the 14th. It
wasn't a great delivery for a hat-trick ball either, was it? He's tried to go quick, get the batter on the pad, LBW, but angled it down the leg side. And the batter can get off strike pretty easily.
Chase now to bowl to the right-handed Milind Kumar. Short third man, backward point and an extra cover inside the circle. And this is cut away out towards the deep cover to Sheffield Rutherford in front of the fans packed into the Greenwich and Haynes stand on the western side of this beautiful ground, Kensington Oval, which will be hosting the final in 8 days' time, June the 29th. And it's hosted many a final, the World Cup final of 2007, the T20 final of 2010. That was the men's tournament. Of course, the women's tournament, the final was played in Antigua. As the delivery is pitched up and driven into the offside, and they are able to get the single to end the over. 14 overs completed, 91 for 6. Milind Kumar is 14, and with him at the crease is Shadley Van Shalvik. And at the moment, the USA is struggling to really put a competitive total on the board. But we'll have to wait and see on this night of the full moon over Bridgetown, as the pair have a word in mid-pitch, and Peter De La Pena rejoins us to offer his perspective on where the USA find themselves at this stage.
Well, one of the takeaways I have here is kind of a larger philosophical point, and I swear I'm not just saying this after the fact. This isn't 2020 hindsight. I've been on the record over the course of the last year plus. Corey Anderson's performance in this tournament raises some question marks about overall selection philosophy. When you have a player like him who's available for USA, he's available for USA because he's not the 2015 version of Corey Anderson. This isn't New Year's Day 2014 Corey Anderson hitting a fastest century against West Indies in Queenstown, Fazeer. Okay, this is a decade later, somebody who's had a surgically repaired back, who's well past his career best, and what does it advance USA cricket overall in the long term to pick somebody like him who's performing the way he has in this World Cup?
As Alzari Joseph back into the attack, bowls on the line of off stump to Van Shalvik, and he's playing it back along the pitch to the bowler. And that's a fair question, because apart from all the issues with surgery and injuries and so on, he's carrying a bit of extra weight. You can't get away from that reality, and therefore it begs the question, is he playing on a reputation that is at least 10 years old?
Well, looking at all the preview packages before the tournament when they were showing highlights of Corey Anderson in his New Zealand uniform, yes, his face looks noticeably different along with the rest of his body.
As Joseph bowls on the line of off stump, plays it away square on the offside, and they're able to get the single. Van Shalvik gets his third run. The score moves on to 92 for 6 in over number 15. But yes, it is a relevant point as to what is the direction here for USA cricket as far as picking players with previous international experience, and whether or not they are really hungry and attuned to the demands of the modern game.
Well, and not just that, but who is going to inspire the next generation of players? Corey Anderson, or somebody in the mold of Steele and Terrell, who's born and raised in the US, who's come through the system, who players can look up to.
Joseph bowls on the line of off stump, plays it away very, very fine down towards third man, picked up cleanly by Obed McCoy, and they can only get the single. So the score moves on to 93 for 6 in the 15th over.
Talking to Rishi Ramesh, the USA Under-19 captain, born and raised in Dallas, Texas, before the start of Major League Cricket last summer, I asked him who he was looking up to as a role model. He was a net bowler for a lot of the teams in MLC last year, and I said, who is he looking up to? Who is he tried to soak up things from? And he said his role model is Ali Sheikh. Now, who's Ali Sheikh? Ali Sheikh is somebody who, former USA Under-19 captain, just like Rishi Ramesh, and his mentality was, if Ali Sheikh can make it in MLC, I see a future for myself.
Joseph bowls a short ball that's taken on the body by Van Shalvik, as he really took his eyes off it. The extra pace and extra hostility from Alzari Joseph was not best pleased with the world. Is Alzari, even before he was smashed for 6 by Aaron Jones. I think that catch that was put down by Akil Hussain at a fourth slip really got under his skin, and he's what we call classic vex with the world right now, is Alzari Joseph. He didn't even celebrate that wicket, but he's really trying his best. A man who now carries increasing responsibility for the West Indies as vice captain. He's had a good couple of years with the ball, leading from the front in the white ball formats. And here he is again at the top of his mark, running away from the Joel Garner end to bowl on the line of middle and leg to Milind Kumar. Plays with a dead bat, just the single into the offside. And the score moves on to 94 for 6 in over number 15.
And just to wrap up the point, this is, again, it's not a personal attack on Corey Anderson. He's a lovely guy. He does a lot for cricket in the community in Dallas, where he lives now. He does a lot of coaching. He's coached players like Ali Sheikh. He's coached players like Rishi Ramesh. He's tried to help build up their skills, and he's made an impact in the community. But if you ask Rishi Ramesh, who does he see as a role model, he's going to say Ali Sheikh. He's not somebody who can identify with Corey Anderson. For him, Corey Anderson is somebody who's come up through the New Zealand system, and to see him have success at international cricket, that's not something that is going to inspire him. He wants to see an American player do that.
Azari bowls the last ball of the over. That's played off the body by Van Schalvik, back along the pitch to the bowler. It's a 95 for 6 after 15 overs. Milind Kumar is on 16. Van Schalvik is on 4. The US is struggling to get their innings going once again after losing a bunch of wickets in the first 10 overs after they were put into bat by the West Indies. More analysis and perspectives from Peter De La Pena, and then it's going to be Daniel Norcross.
And when I say he wants to see an American player do that, I mean that in the sense of somebody who's been born and raised, brought up through the system. It doesn't have anything to do with ethnic backgrounds. Rishi Ramesh comes from an Indian heritage background. Ali Sheikh comes from a Pakistani heritage background. Sai Mukamal is another one out of New Jersey, comes from an Indian heritage background. But these are guys who are born and raised, developed in New Jersey. And when they see their peers who have been brought up through the American system make it on the big stage like Stephen Taylor has for USA over the course of 15 years, those are the ones who they look up to as role models. And I think those are the ones who USA should be picking.
Roston Chase in for his last over. First ball flicked away down the deep backward square leg. Milind Kumar moves to 17. 96 for 6. This isn't enough. It's nothing like enough. And you fear for the USA here. You also know, though, that the West Indies are going to go hard for this target because they've got some net run rate work to do. It's not just about getting over the line. They will expect England to beat the USA. That will give them 4 points. It'll mean that the West Indies can only make 4 points. So they know that if they're going to go through, this is defended into the offside, no run. We say they don't know this because the USA could beat England, but they can't afford to take that chance. So they know that they've got to try to improve their net run rate, and that might bring the USA back into the game as this is driven firmly through extra cover. It's running away towards the boundary. It's going to get there. It's a fine shot by Shadley van Schalkwijk, and it brings up the 100. 100 for 6. Ball driven through extra cover, and long off was a little straight, couldn't get around to it. So a target of 130, 140 could get the West Indies in bother, because if they're going to try and hunt that down in 15, 14, 15, 16 overs, then they might start losing wickets early, which would bring the USA into the game. So this is crucial overs here for the USA. As this next ball's worked into the onside, it's a short mid-wicket. There will be no runs. Gurkesh Moti does the field. 3 in the ring on the offside, and that mid-wicket quite close in, saving 1, as is the extra cover. Forward in defence comes Van Schalkwijk. He'll get the run, though. So he was pushed with very soft hands to the point region, 101 for 6.
Johnson Charles has been a weak link all night long in the field. They're picking on him again on that single. That boundary earlier in the over by Van Schalkwijk. USA's first since the 13th over. Rare loose delivery from Chase over, pitching it there. He's been bowling everything almost on a good to back of a length. It's kept USA really frustrated.
He was very effective against England the other night. It was pretty quick, around about 90 kilometres an hour, 95, but usually straight, not a straight delivery. Worked around a pad by Milind Kumar down towards deep backward square leg, end of the over, end of Roston Chase. 4 overs, 3 for 19. 3 big wickets, 2 in 2. Getting rid of Corey Anderson with an LBW so plumb. Anderson almost walked as the finger went up. There was absolutely no hesitation in umpire or batter's mind that was out. And their very next delivery, Harmeet Singh, who can hit a big ball, caught by Charles, off the bowling of Roston Chase for a first ball duck. And from then on in, it's been about just trying to eke out a score of, what do you reckon, Peter, 130, 135, give themselves something to bowl at. They've bowled well in this tournament on other pitches.
Well, Van Schalkwijk can hit sixes. He's got some power in his game. He's just trying to stretch this innings out here, but if he's in there in the 19th, 20th over, he's capable of clearing the rope. So if they can stretch it out, get singles for the next 2 overs, get it to 114, and then get 10 and over, 134, 135 is realistic.
Left arm spin of Moti back in the attack. A fast, rapid, straight ball is pushed into the offside. The front foot by Milind Kumar for a single. How quick was that one? That felt like it was about 110, 150. That was, so it says only 100. That felt like medium pace.
This is the left arm spin version of Shahid Afridi.
Yeah.
Zipping it in there.
It is. It is, I like it. I mean, it says 100. We've seen him get up to 106 today, kilometers an hour, that is. I mean, he is putatively a left-arm spinner. But he's bowling now for the left-handed Van Schalkwijk, who cuts. Well, strapples, I beg your pardon, for a brilliant 4. He played as if to cut it, and then the ball went not through deep backward point at all. It went over the bowler's head, and it was hit very crisply. Very effectively. 4 runs for Van Schalkwijk. Wasn't quite the 6 that Peter Della Pena was telling us to look out for, but you feel the shot side that is not far away. 107 for 6.
Yeah, in domestic cricket in the US, he bats at 4 or 5. He's definitely somebody who's got power in his game, and he showed it there, thumping that flat batted back over the bowler's head into the sight screen.
Moti it again, but punches off the back foot into the ground, fielded by the bowler, moving slightly to his left. We've got a short third, a backward point, extra cover, all on the edge of the ring, and a short fine leg, and then deep, long on, long off, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square, and a sweeper. This is flicked fine to the man on the 45. They'll just get through for the single, though. 108 for 6 brings the right-handed Milind Kumar back onto strike. We've had 100 balls. And it won't be long now before we'll be getting the 100-ball competition live every ball of every game, as there is every ball of every match of this World Cup and all domestic cricket and international cricket on the BBC this summer. Swing and a miss into the pads, rolls out to the offside. There's no run on 5 Sports Extra. And our podcasts, No Balls, of course, with Alex Hartley and Kate Cross, and Tailenders, as well as BBC Stumped. All of that to look forward to over the summer of 2024. Moti is in. Another rapid, flat ball. Can only be cut to backward point. And there's no run. It's another very accomplished over from Gudakesh Moti. Just a 6 from it. 108 for 6. 3 overs remain. Milind Kumar 19. As Schalkwijk has 14.
And I know there's going to be some people who are listening and observing this match in the US also questioning the selection of Milind Kumar. At the time of the World Cup squad announcement, a lot of people were somewhat perplexed that he was preferred over Gajanand Singh. Gajanand Singh, somebody who's a left-handed bat, packs a lot of power in the middle order, has been a match winner for USA. He's somebody who scored a century against the West Indies in the 50-over World Cup qualifier back in Zimbabwe last year in 2023. He's won numerous Man of the Match awards for USA. He was Man of the Match when they beat Ireland.
Well, where is he?
Well, he's sitting at home somewhere in Bronx, New York right now. He should be here. At least from my perspective, anyway.
Andre Russell, right arm over, starts a new over. Driven firmly back past the bowler for 4. A very fine shot from Van Schalkwijk. There was, say in the slot, it was full, certainly on around off stump just outside. And Van Schalkwijk is a chunky gentleman, muscular, and he's got plenty of that. It's a really good shot. Flat, was in the air, but not very far in the air. Went about 6 feet and then dropped. Now down the leg side, and it's short. Oh no, it's going to be a run out. And who's going to get out here? Who's going to be out?
It's going to be Milind, because Shadley Van Schalkwijk never left his crease. So Milind Kumar took off on contact, was flicked off the pads to short fine leg, and Shadley Van Schalkwijk was ball watching. Milind Kumar took off on contact, calling from the non-strikers end, and the throw came into Russell, who just walks to the stumps and flicks off the bails of the non-strikers end. But Van Schalkwijk guilty of ball watching there in a bad way. There arguably might have been a run there if he took off and respected the call from Milind Kumar, but he took about 2 steps out and then said, I got to get back in before Milind Kumar does. I want to keep batting.
Well, I don't think there was a run there. I mean, we've heard Alex Hartley say if the ball goes to short fine leg, it's a run. I think she's right most of the time, but that was flicked so firmly to short fine leg. He picked it up on the half volley. It was nearly a catch. There was, I mean, Kumar just set off instantly. I don't think Van Schalkwijk would have got in. And the way he's currently batting, it might be better for the USA that he is at the crease. So Milind Kumar ends up run out. Moti with the throw, but from short fine leg up to Russell. And at that point, the point at which the bails were taken off, Milind Kumar was literally at the same end as Van Schalkwyk. 112 for 7, which brings Nosh to the crease.
The king of the desert.
Tenjige.
The king of the desert.
He's the only man, apparently, on Facebook called Nostosh.
That's correct.
Russell in, outside the off stump, an attempted guide through backward point misses from Van Schalkwyk. So what is this? Is it literally the only man on Facebook called Nostosh?
Well, it's a Navajo word. So his dad is somebody who's made his living in agriculture. They've got a big coffee farm in Karnataka at the family home in Chikmagalur, and he was doing some agricultural studying in Arizona with the Navajo Nation.
Russell in, it's been cut in the air, straight to the sweeper. It's a second wicket in the over, and it's Van Schalkwyk, so he can go back and now have a chat to Milind Kumar about what went wrong a couple of balls ago. That's 2 wickets in 3 balls, and I'm afraid the USA are imploding here. 112 for 8. 2 balls left in the 18th. Well, Schalkwyk goes for 18, threw lovely shots in there, and that was a pretty nice shot itself. Short and cut away, but it went straight on the full.
Well,
Johnson Charles, who took the easiest of catches about 5 yards in from the boundary.
It was tempting fate. They've been picking on Johnson Charles all night. He said, I'll whack this in the air, flag to the cover sweeper, and it was a straightforward catching opportunity. Charles, though, got his hands kind of in an awkward position. He was almost kind of handcuffed, trying to figure out to go fingers up or fingers down, and the ball kind of bobbled in his hands. He held on in the end, made it far more dramatic than it should have been, but Van Schalkwyk, as you said, not sure they'll be giving each other a hug quite so soon, him and Milind Kumar.
Yeah, I fancy not. Right, Russell in to the new batter. Ali Khan down the leg side. I felt a flick on that. Oh, well, wide has been signalled. And I thought I heard something. Andre Russell saying, did that not just clip his thigh? You can refer it if you want to, but claim it's for a leg bite.
Well, this tells you the state of affairs, where in a different situation, if West Indies was desperate for a wicket, they probably would have reviewed that. But at 113 for 8.
There's no need. Russell into Ali Khan, who goes hard and high and down the ground. It's huge. It's 6. That's a mighty shot. That is, I tell you what, that has hit the windows where the journalists or scribblers are below us, a couple of floors below. It has bounced off it and it has rolled virtually all the way back into the inner ring. That is a mighty blow from Ahmed Ali Khan. 119 for 8. Wow. That's what's his first legitimate ball.
These two have been franchise teammates on the T20 circuit around the world, and they know each other quite well, and maybe he was expecting that.
That's one heck of a shot. That is an amazing shot. You just seen the replay of it a couple of times. Whacked just almost on the lettering where it says Malcolm Marshall End.
I know
I don't think Malcolm Marshall would have been hit like that too many times.
Some USA fans are wondering, if Ali Khan's doing that his first legal delivery, what was Milind Kumar and Corey Anderson doing all innings long, poking and prodding?
Russell into him again. He goes again in the air, and it's going to be 4. Bounces once just in front of the long-on fielder, running round to his left, Obed McCoy. And he couldn't get there, so Ali Khan picks up 10 runs at the end of the over. 123 for 8 with 2 overs to go. And as I said, 130, 135, dare one even say at 140. And with the West Indies needing to go hard to sort out their net run rate, we could yet have an interesting game. There are some USA flags being flown as I say all that, and the lights light up in the carnival tent away to my right. There's really weird floodlights here. They're unique in my experience. You've seen floodlights like this before, Peter? They look like a shreddy. I know other cereals are available, but if you could imagine a shreddy turned on its side, so it was with the, because a shreddy is basically rectangular, and then you shone light through a shreddy. That's what you've got. A whole bunch of light-giving shreddies. This next ball is just the angle to backward point, shy of the stumps, misses at the non-striker's end. And Ali Khan would have been a long way out. Kenjigate could do well to listen here to Ali Khan. The man's just hit a 6 and a 4 and looks like he might actually put some much needed impetus into the American innings, and he called for the run. It was his call. It went to backward point, and initially they didn't run. Ali Khan then ran back. Throw came in, missed, and we got through for a run in the end. 124 for 8. That brings Ali Khan on to strike, with Alzari Joseph into bowl. He goes for a big swing, misses through to the keeper. Oh, hello, careful. As throw comes back towards Alzari Joseph. He's convinced that there was an edge on that. He's convinced he heard something. And you are allowed to refer it, Alzari. You know, you don't have to keep remonstrating with the umpire. Nobody seems to want to take Alzari Joseph seriously yet. Now, finally, they're going to get a referral. It was a rather unusual display of borderline petulance there, as he stood in the middle of the square with his arms outstretched. Say to the umpire, what have you done? But it's like, you've got a referral, and they've now taken it.
I didn't hear anything on the stump mic.
I didn't, but Alzari Joseph definitely did. And it's close, you know. And I think I might have heard something just then.
Check ultra edge, please.
I think he might be onto something.
Ultra edge coming up now.
No, nothing.
I tell you what, Daniel, Ali Khan has been all over the promotional posters for this tournament, along with Robin Powell and Shaheen Afridi. It was meant to be for his bowling, but in 3 balls at the crease, he's provided plenty of entertainment on the batting side.
It's been awesome, as you would say. Awesome! Let's see. Next delivery, driven to backward point along the ground. They take the run. It's an easy enough run. Roston Chase does the fielding. 125 for 8. 3 balls left in the 19th. 9 balls left, therefore, in the innings. It's a bit of chaos going on out there. You sense that Kenjigate and Ali Khan aren't natural runners between the wickets, or indeed batters. So I've got to keep my eyes peeled in case of a mix-up and miscommunication. Here is Alzari. Kenjigate just taps the ball back to the bowler. He's hoping for just a push and run there. There was no ambition in that shot. It was just, there's lots of gaps here. If I get the bat on in, I'm sure to be able to get a run. Well, only if you don't roll it back to the bowler.
His approach is basically, no matter where the ball is going to be, I'm going to look to put it in a gap, wherever I can find the best gap in the field. So he sees there's nobody in front of square on the leg side from fine leg out to mid-wicket. This is just the fine leg fielder inside the ring. So he's just looking to tap and run a sharp 2 inside the ring on the leg side.
Sorry, into him again. Oh, now he's gone for the little ramp, but he's placed it straight into the hands of the keeper. He's moved across his stumps. He was trying to lift the ball up and over the keeper. We see it many times before, and he's actually just spooned it in the air, no more than about 8 yards behind him. And about as easy a catch as Nicholas Pooran will ever have. Brings the ball of the 9th wicket. Kenjigate goes. I have to say, he didn't really hint at permanence. And the score is 125 for 9 with 1 ball left in the 19th.
Well, that is one of his favorite shots to play, believe it or not.
Really?
It is something out of the Kenjigate playbook that you wouldn't expect to see from him. And on that occasion, didn't come off. He saw fine leg was up in the ring. His attempt to tap and run and squirt it through mid-wicket the previous ball didn't work. So we thought, let me go to option B, the scoop over fine leg. And it was on a length to play the shot, but he just got under it a bit too much, hitting it straight up in the air to Pooran.
Just saw a fan banner out there. It says very simply, cheese on bread. And in a strange kind of way, I think I know what that meant. You might argue that there's no way of knowing what that means, but I think we do know what that means. That means he had him on toast. Pretty much. No, it doesn't mean that. Well, that's what it looked like. Maybe it just means she likes cheese on bread. And who doesn't, except vegans, I guess. As this next ball goes through to the keeper, and there is no run. 125 for 9. It's not very well played by Saurav Netravalkar, but we are down to the bowlers now, and batting has looked to have less aptitude as we've gone through the card, which is fairly normal, but there does seem to be a little bit of a falling off here with the USA order sort of numbers 8, 9, 10, 11. Although Ali Khan has played a couple of beautiful shots. If it's in his arc, he'll swing at it. But the innings has rather fallen from 88 for 4. How many have we lost there? 5 have gone down for 37.
This is the first time, really, that they've looked out of their depth. And now you're seeing the absence of Monak Patel being exposed. They really have been competitive without him against South Africa and India, but they've been totally overmatched here tonight, and they're sorely missing him with his run to the top of the order.
Andre Russell, sporting that thin splodge of blonde that runs right down the middle of his hair. Runs in to start the last over. Ali Khan on strike. Goes for a big hoik. Doesn't get a great deal of it, but they might get to run 2 here. They're going to need to. They have done, as it's gone out towards deep square leg. Throw comes in, and Ali Khan is very safely home. 127 for 9. Couple of lusty blows here, though. You say they've been outplayed today. They have, really, but they might yet get to 140, and for reasons I mentioned earlier, there's a chance that could cause problems. Now he's gone again, and he's hit it down the ground. There's only going to be the 1, though, which will bring Netravalka onto strike, which is suboptimal for the US. 128 for 9. Shortish, and just sort of spooned back past the bowler in the air. Ali Khan moves to 14 from 6. 4 balls remain. So look at this field. Well, I suppose for Netravalka, it's not really about a boundary option. It's about getting Ali Khan back on strike option. There are times like this, I wonder whether let's just get somebody in a little bit closer, save the 1, as Andre Russell is in to Netravalka, who's completely beaten for pace by the ball that sails through wide of the off stump through to the keeper. It wasn't the most rapid ball, but it was rapid enough for Netravalka, who is very much a number 11.
You know, Daniel, he was part of the biggest 10th wicket stand in USA's ODI history. 50 runs for the 10th wicket with Jaskaran Malhotra when Jaskaran Malhotra hit the 6 sixes against Papua New Guinea. Jaskaran Malhotra, 49 of the runs, Netravalka 1.
Oh, good luck.
But he was part of the partnership.
Absolutely. Russell into him. Oh, swings, misses. Needed not to do that. Needed just to get some bat on it. He wants a bit of glory here, and I said it before, and John Arlott said it before me. He wasn't so much late on that as posthumous. It was a long time in passing. The ball in the gloves, and then the shot came. It was at 134 kilometres an hour, so it's not exactly express pace, but it's fast enough for many a number 11. As Russell turns for the penultimate ball of the innings. Now he's gone hard at this, down the ground, and taken. I think taken. Yes, taken by Rovman Powell. A good diving catch. Didn't quite get hold of it, Netravalka. It was in the air for quite a while, but Rovman Powell had a lot of ground to make running in from the boundary. 15 or so yards, and he dived forward two-handed and took it just off the ground. So the USA innings has come to an end with 1 ball left. 19.5 overs they've lasted, 128 all out. There were moments today when they would have expected more. They certainly hoped for more. We saw a fine knock from Andries Goes, 29 off 16. Nitish Kumar with him, looked in pretty good touch with 20 off 19. But the big wicket really was that of Aaron Jones. We just take a look at the replay again. It's a really good catch from a big man, Rovman Powell. He's nimble on his feet, and he dived forward, took it about 1 inch or 2 off the ground. And he was running at full pelt, and he really does make sure to clasp that and keep his fingers underneath it. And as a result, they've lost their 10th and final wicket, leaving poor old Ali Khan high and dry, 14 from 6 balls with a 4 and a 6, unbeaten at the other end. You kind of think that he might perhaps go up the order with shots like that. We just had confirmation that it was out. We all knew it was out. We could tell it was out, but they need to make sure of these things. And so, Peter Dellapena alongside me. I don't quite know where it quite went wrong. I would say Aaron Jones's big swing off Roston Chase's first ball was perhaps an injudicious shot at a time when he probably needed to look for a couple of balls. because he was a big player for them at that stage. They were 3 down at that time, and then that was the 4th, and it was hard coming back from there.
They struggled against spin in general. 48 for 1 at the end of the power play after 6 overs, and then 80 runs off the final 14 overs. That first ball after the power play, Nitish Kumar tries to reverse sweep Guda Keshmoti out LBW. You have Aaron Jones out missing a sweep, bowled by Roston Chase. You have Corey Anderson out LBW playing back to Roston Chase. You have Harmeet Singh slicing the backward point next ball. Really the highlight of the innings was West Indies' effectiveness, with their spin bowlers and USA's struggles against spin, and that really was the difference in the last segment of play outside the power play, because USA looked like they were off to a very confident start, and then everything just went haywire.
Well, there were 10 overs of spin, and they cost 46 runs and took 4 wickets. There were 10 overs of pace, and they cost 82 runs and took 4 wickets. So that slightly tells its own story. From a USA point of view, 128 is going to be very, very difficult to defend. But I've mentioned this before, in these very small groups. Oh, hang on. We've got Andre Russell alongside Cas Naidu. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, it felt good. We know how important this game is. And, it's good to start the first 20 with a positive note. So, happy with the total and hope that our batters can get it as quick as possible.
What was the key to the whole bowling attack, bowling well in these conditions?
Yeah, I think, from the last game, we talk about a few things that we went wrong and areas that we can improve on, and definitely seen improvements. We as a bowling unit, I stand up in meetings and I discuss with the bowlers and I tell them, bowl your best ball at all times. If a batter play a good shot, then don't panic. And I think we showcase our talent tonight in terms of our bowling. So I'm happy with how we keep calm. Restrict them to a good total. Wicket is not that bad. It's coming on nicely to the bat, so I'm confident in our batters.
All the best with the run chase.
Thank you very much.
That was Andre Russell with Cas Naidu. Interesting that they chose to speak to Andre Russell. He picked up a couple of wickets for 31 runs. Probably say that. Corey Anderson never got going tonight, 7 off 15 before he was LBW to Chase. And I'm just being handed, yes, I'm coming to it in just 1 second. And at the end of it all, Milind Kumar 19, Van Schalkwijk 18, Ali Khan an unbeaten 14 off 628. All out, it doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. Earlier today, England lost a thrilling match to South Africa by 7 runs after they fell just short, chasing down 164 in St Lucia. It means that South Africa top Group 2 with 4 points, England on 2, West Indies and the USA yet to get a point until the conclusion of this match, of course. Let's get some more reaction to England's defeat. Henry Moran leads our commentary team in St Lucia.
Well, as they have done for the last 7 times now that they've played South Africa in the T20 World Cup, England won the toss and they, on this occasion, elected to field first. That's what we expected. We expected a quick scoring pitch. It didn't really turn out that way. South Africa made 163 for 6, despite Quinton de Kock scoring a quick-fire 65 from 38 balls. In response, England stuttered and struggled, got off to a reasonable start, but in the end it just was all a little bit timid and hard to get away until Harry Brook and Liam Livingstone put on together a good partnership. 21 came from the 17th over. At that point, England needed 25 runs from 18 balls, but some fine bowling at the end saw them finishing 7 runs short. So, Jeff Lemon, it leaves things rather open in this.
Well, things could go in a few different directions from here. We've got the 4 teams in the group: South Africa, England, the USA, West Indies. So basically, if South Africa beat West Indies and England beat the USA, England will go through. They'll be fine. But if that result is inverted, you could end up with 3 teams on 4 points each. England should have South Africa covered on net run rate. They're behind them at the moment, but if South Africa lose to West Indies, they'll lose a bit. And if England beat the USA, they'll gain a bit. But if it were a very narrow win for England and a narrow loss for South Africa, then they might not make up that net run rate gap. So it is still in play. You've got those 3 teams all in play there, and the USA have only played one of their games. They could win 2 as well and end up on 4 points.
Oh, goodness me. I thought we were done with net run rate, Finney. What do we make of England's performance today? Because it was a funny old game, this. Not really what we expected.
No, I think both power plays have hurt them, really. I don't think they adapted to conditions quick enough inside the first 6 overs with the ball. They allowed Quinton de Kock to get away to a flying start. The only person, really, who played with any fluency, David Miller, scored relatively quickly as well, but that was thrashing around at the end. The only person who batted inside the first 15 overs with fluency in the entire game was Quinton de Kock, and then with the bat in hand, the South African bowlers, I think, learned what had worked for the England bowlers in terms of changing their pace, taking pace off the ball inside those first 6 overs, not letting the batters just hit through the line of it, and it meant that 22-run swing within the power play was what ended up being fatal for England.
England will be really frustrated to have taken it so close, Jeff, and fought back in the way that they did. 25 from 18, 6 wickets in hand. You'd expect most teams to win that 9 times out of 10.
You would. They got a bit of a gift to get them there, though, in the form of that over from Othniel Bartman. Slow the progress down enough that Sam Curran couldn't do it on his own at the end.
How will England feel, do you think, Vinny? Because it's one of those games where you could easily have won it at the end, could easily have lost it by quite a few more runs if things hadn't quite gone their way in that over.
Yeah, after the game, I think Josh Buttler sounded upbeat about what they'd done. I think they did some good things in the game that they can take confidence from, but it's that power play with the ball again, as it was against Australia, that left them scrambling around and chasing their tails a bit through the latter stages or the final 14 overs of their bowling innings. They dragged it back well today. I thought in the middle overs and towards the end they bowled excellently, but certainly there's still some room to improve on if they do.
They're in a bit slower. I think it certainly played a little bit like that. I thought the bowling performance, I said, after the first 6 we were outstanding. The way we restricted them to 160 was probably about par, I thought. So we were confident. I thought they bowled well in the power play, didn't let us to get away, and credit to Brooke and Livingston for getting it so close, and then like I say, the ebbs and flows, you probably looked like favourites at that point, but on that kind of wicket it's never quite as simple as that.
As a captain watching on, I mean, powerless, it must be really difficult when you know a team, your side's getting so close, then you have the setback. I mean, how do you cope with that?
Yeah, okay, I've seen a lot of cricket, and you sit there and you put trust in the guys, and they were playing brilliantly well. I thought, like I say, not a straightforward surface, the way Brooke and Livingston put that partnership together, and like you say, you probably at one point looking favourites there. It was a great effort. So yeah, shame we couldn't go all the way, but we still did a lot of good things today.
And then the USA up next, which is going to be an unusual, new fixture for you guys. And it's a fixture that you're looking at now, and you've got to approach, I suppose, like the Namibia and Oman games, where net run rate, all those considerations come in.
Yeah, we just have to try and win the game, and we haven't played against the USA before, so looking forward to that. The games come thick and fast, so you dust yourself down and go again.
Do you feel just finally that you're getting proper cricket now after the bitty group stage? It feels a little bit more like a proper tournament for you.
Yeah, it does. Like I say, games are coming thick and fast, and had a great game against the West Indies. Another good game today. Shame we couldn't win the game, but we're still in it, and we look forward to the next one.
Quite an upbeat Josh Buttler there, having a rather nice conversation with Henry Moran, which is good to hear. After the disappointment of England's loss today, had they won, they were effectively through to the next round into the semi-finals. They didn't make it through. They're still very well placed if they were to beat the USA. Because they only lost by 7 runs and because they won their first game quite comfortably, they're sitting fairly pretty for net run rate. The West Indies, on the other hand, are not. And as a result, having been set 129 to win by the USA, of course, first and foremost, they want the points. But Alex Hartley, this might be their very best chance of getting right back into this competition, because a big win here against the USA means that they probably only need a win against South Africa.
Yeah, there's a huge opportunity, isn't it, for them to go out and win this game quickly. And I think if the USA have done their research, that they'll know that Johnson Charles isn't great against spin. So I'd like to see them, if he's on strike, open with a spinner from the other end. We are going to have a seamer from this end, but his strike rate is like 190 against seam, and then it drops right down to about 110, 120 against spin. So I'd love it if they opened with a spinner, especially if Johnson Charles is on strike for the next over. But
could that be like Harmy maybe, or Kenji Gay, I guess?
But huge opportunity for the West Indies to win and win big.
Yeah, there is a big opportunity. So, doesn't look like a big target, but we could be in for a fair bit of drama out there. There's Saurav Netravalkar, the hero against Pakistan in that incredible super over. He's become a kind of world star overnight. Left arm over the wicket. And he's going to be bowling. His first ball is driven into the offside by Shea Hope, who's into the side. And there is no run. Into the side. It was a bit of a surprise to me that he was at the side as well. He's not exactly a sort of a thrasher, Shea Hope, is he?
No, but with King being injured, they have to bring somebody in. And
yeah, well, Shimron Hetmeyer and do a little shuffle.
It messes up the order, though, with Hetmeyer, because he's not going to open the batting. So you want a like-for-like replacement, really.
Mayers. Yeah, I mean, fair point. It's not easy. Netravalkar in, driven again up to mid-off. There's no run. It's back of a length and quite time it. Picks out the fielder. Harmeet Singh. There's no run.
I was reading earlier about, obviously, Netravalkar having his out of office on and saying he'd be back on the 17th of June. There's a big story on how he's had to obviously ask for more time off work, but he's not the only one in that team. There's been a few of them that have had to extend their leave because they got through to the Super 8s, which is such a great story, isn't it?
It's fantastic. It is fantastic.
And also for every win throughout the competition, you get more money as a team.
Oh, yes, which I hope will filter down to the players. Netravalkar, strikes the pad, and Netravalkar doesn't quite believe in it. Probably just going down the leg side. It rolls away into the offside to sort of short third position, and they take the run. Aaron Jones is just checking, but no, he's not going to take a look at this, I don't think.
It's already been called leg buys, so I don't think they're... Well, they can't go... Well,
they can, but they won't. Yeah. Umpires shouldn't do that, but...
Pitching outside leg and going down, I reckon.
I think the umpire may have helped the Americans there by calling it. So don't waste it. It was exactly that. Pitching just outside leg and going down. One without loss for the West Indies. There is a slip in place, a point cover, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket. Deep backward square and quite a wide deep third. Netravalkar will angle the ball across the right-handed Johnson Charles. Charles drives crisply, but straight to Harmeet Singh at mid-off, and there's no run.
Both of these can be slow starters, especially Johnson Charles, but he catches up so quickly. He's one of our players in the PSL. Good character. Great character. Good cricketer as well.
Been around a while now.
Yeah,
Debut back in about 2012
yeah,
against
a
England.
long time ago.
Yeah. When he came over in a part of a very young side that played a series of T20s against England. I want to say 2012, 2011 maybe even. The next ball is all just guided off the face of the bat down towards deep third. Looked slightly risky shot, slightly flirtatious with the ball just outside of the off stump. Netravalkar has certainly found his line and length. He'll pick up another run. 2 without loss, 1 ball left in the first over.
They'll know that there's not really any pressure on the West Indies here. They can have a quiet over, can get used to this surface, which actually looks a little bit better than the previous game that was played here.
Andre Russell said he liked it. Thought it was a pretty decent batting track.
He finds every wicket easy to bat on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's not the perfect example, I suppose. Netravalkar in again, clipped away into the onside. They'll take the single as it goes to the right of mid-off. Who is Nitish Kumar. And, well, they might think about an overthrow, but they don't in the end. A bit of sloppy fielding there. USA need to get on it here. 3 without loss. First in a hotel bar in Dallas. Pouring over data of Canadian and USA players. I've got to be frank with you, we don't get to see them a great deal on the telly, and we don't go to many of their matches.
No, my first was in New York.
Well, there you go. And so I found myself in, what have you done? I thought you'd just been electrocuted or something the way you... What heavens to Betsy? What's happening? Kenjige's in. And his first ball is clipped away nicely out deep mid-wicket. There's no run. We need an orthopaedic surgeon.
Oh.
What did you do? How did you do it?
I just got a bit excited and I've cricked my neck.
A lot.
It happened during the Ashes, the Test match, and I couldn't move for ages.
Oh, you couldn't, could you? You were,
no.
If you don't mind me saying so, moderately, hilariously stiff.
Yeah.
Run. I know how painful that can be, though. 4 without loss.
It's always the same spot, right up the top of my head.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know where there is, listener, do you? It's sort of the same in your ear, but just keep going backwards. Behind your head a bit more. Short. and swept, and they should get a run here. It's not a great bit of fielding by Netravalka, and he was at short fine leg and he strike, but it's a date start so far. Now he's gone for a big one. It's a sort of marvellous 1960s, 70s style building with curves and gradient stories, and it has bounced off the top of it. There's a clock on it. It's gone over the top of the clock and bounced off the top of that and out into the concourse, and that ball will take a while to come back.
Yeah, I think we're going to have the spare balls come out as well. What a shot that was from Hope. Clears the front leg, sets his base, whacks the ball over deep mid-wicket. There's an unbelievable pickup, and somehow I think we've got it back.
Well, that's great effort. It gives me a chance to give you an email from Caden with a K. Greetings from Dallas, Texas, which hosted a few T20 World Cup games. The media brought the cricket up initially, but they're more interested in the NBA and NHL, in which two of our local teams made a good playoffs run respectively. I'll tell you more about what he says in a moment. It's a 96-metre 6, by the way. There's Kenji Gay. How will he respond to the indignity of being pumped over Gary Sobers' pavilion? Well, flatter into the body and just tucked into the onside, fielding the edge of the circle. They get a single, 12 without loss. He says, I am listening to the ICC website's global feed, where you can listen to us, of course. I don't think the US stand a chance. Well, they're supposed to work to the onside. They should get two, though, because it's got the other teams that have been soothing.
Yeah.
We're not so soothing, I don't think. But
Probably say, shut up, Dan.
yeah.
Bring back Henry.
Where's Artif? As Saurav Netravalka is in. Oh, this has been driven over his head. One bounce, two bounces, and into the sponge for four by Shea Hope. First ball of a new over. It's too full, and it's easily picked up. 18 without loss, and this is what we thought might happen. The West Indies looking 18 for none. Score remains.
Well, Hope's never going to miss out on a ball like that, was it? It was in the slot, full straight. He's always going to take it on, hit the ball down the ground. Doesn't matter who you're bowling at. Bowling in the power play, bowling the slot, it's probably going to go for four.
Yep. It's got me thinking about who might be the most soothing voice that we've had on. Charlie
Melissa
Taylor.
Story?
Yeah, I think Charlie Taylor probably. Into Hope, who drives nicely through the offside. This is going to run away to the boundary for four. I couldn't keep it up. 22 without loss. 2.5 overs have gone. Fine shot, lovely extra cover drive, just to the right of extra and to the left of mid-off, all along the ground. Second boundary in the over. The West Indies are now just starting to get into their rhythm and their stride here.
Yeah, wobble ball, slower ball into the surface, outside the off stump, played on the up actually, up on his toes. It's a lovely shot through the covers. A little bit of pressure on the USA here. Yes, West Indies, no, yes, the USA, yes. They batted first and get a massive total, but they have enough on the board to defend if we were in New York, and if you can get something out of this pitch.
Netravalka's changing angle, he's coming around the wicket. A big wild yahoo from Shea Hope, who's obviously been told for Johnson Charles, beg your pardon. No, it was Shea Hope. They're so quick on the scoreboard. I thought, how is that possible? It was Hope, and he's had a horrible larrup at it. And he's just got the single up to long on, but I think this tells us something, doesn't it, Alex Hartley?
Well, they need to get that net run rate better, don't they? They need to try and give themselves every opportunity to get through to the semi-finals. Yes, they want to win both their remaining games, obviously. But a home semi-final, a home World Cup, you want the West Indies there.
You do, really,
just for the crowds, because this crowd has been amazing compared to yesterday.
Oh, it's an entirely different atmosphere, isn't it? In comes Netravalka. And Johnson Charles gives himself some room, and he just plays it out to point, and there's no run. The problem with Johnson Charles as a name for me, Alex, is that I can't call him Charles.
Well,
Charles drives that through the offside. Doesn't work for me.
JC is what we call him.
JC.
Jono.
So I can't call him Johnson either. So I'm going to either say his whole name and say Johnson Charles.
There are certain people in the world, though. I can't say Little. I have to say Josh Little.
Yes, I know what you mean, yes. So I might have to just stick with Johnson Charles.
That is his name.
That is his name. Johnson Charles on strike. Slaps this into the offside. Good fielding at mid-off. There might have been a run there had they set off immediately, but really well stopped by Harmeet Singh, moving to his left because it was hit tremendously well by Johnson Charles. End of the over, 3 gone, 23 without loss. Hope has 18. JC has 4.
That was a lovely bit of fielding, wasn't it? Saved the boundary. And it was going to be 4 all day long had he not have slid around to his left. Harmeet Singh. Easy for me to say.
It's done it. I think you're there.
I know. I just got a bit muddled.
Well, they keep on changing who's there, but Harmeet Singh is on that occasion was at mid-off, sprawling away to his right. Plenty of batting to come. I wonder if today Roston Chase, if they do lose a couple of wickets, if it won't be Roston Chase coming in, that'll be an interesting signal of intent. Chase is a bit more of a sedate, but a bit more of an anchor, you would say. Now then, Ali Khan is into the attack. He'll bowl rapid and he'll bowl Yorkers. And he's into Shea Hope. And he bowls rapid and not a Yorker outside the off stump. Hope went for a massive swing and he's missed it. Shea Hope obviously been told, go out there and go as hard as you can, because after the first over, he has gone at everything. 23 without loss. He has 18 off 12. Where are our boundary riders? Deep square? Is there a deep third? Or
yeah.
Deep third, that's right. So everyone else up inside the ring. And it's mid-wicket that he's looking for, Shea Hope. He's already smacked one over the Garfield Sobers Pavilion. He's eyeing that again as Ali Khan is into him and he drives into the onside. And there's a mix-up. Eventually, batters get back to their original starting positions. The ball was just hit a little too firmly, albeit without perfect timing, to mid-wicket where Shadley Van Schalkwijk did the fielding.
Even though he's going after everything, you've still got to hold your shape. So just no point just hacking across the line. I think that's what Johnson Charles is coming down and telling him there. He's just saying, just take a moment. Yes, we want to chase this down quickly, but just breathe.
141 kilometres an hour that ball. To put it in context in today's match, that'll be up there with the quickest balls we've seen today. Ali Khan in, short, a bouncer which is ducked. So I tell you, there's some fire in Ali Khan here.
I've been impressed with him throughout this World Cup. He's been decent, but that was a ball that actually, when you think about it, you could probably take that one on rather than the previous, because there's no deep fine leg. So he's gone for the old double bluff with that bouncer. Anything on that's going to go away for 4, even if it's a top edge, because short fines inside the ring. Yes, there's a deep square, but he's not too far behind.
Maybe he was just, surprised by the pace. It was quite a quick one. A 139 kilometre an hour bouncer is quicker than a normal bouncer, because the bouncers tend to show up slower on the speed gun. That's shot. This has been hit beautifully well over deep mid-wicket for 4 towards the Garfield Sobers Pavilion, but not over the top of it for 6. That's what I meant. Over the top of the Emirates sign and up and over and bounced onto the concourse and just didn't quite have the elevation that his previous 6 had, but it was 6 nonetheless, and that's what he's aiming for. Garfield Sobers Pavilion. I wonder if deep square might have to move round.
Long on's gone out instead as he looks to target that area. You can just tell he's just clearing his front leg, holding his shape, looking for that mid-wicket region. The shot is actually still on with a deep square leg and a deep long on.
He might need to go in just a little bit wider. Ali Khan in again. Full toss, flicked away for 4, past the diving short fine leg. He's just lost his length there, Ali Khan. And that is meat and drink. We've had a 6 and a 4 in the last 2 balls. First 3 balls, splendid. Ooh. Friend of ours, the box next door, 33 without loss with 1 ball left in the 4th.
Yeah, it just releases the pressure for the West Indies with that full toss. Yes, he's gone for 6 the previous ball, but that time full toss on leg stump, helped around the corner. 10 runs coming off the over already with a ball to go. It's the perfect over for the West Indies.
Last ball of the 4th coming up. Hope on 28 from 16. Ali Khan's into him, just works it to the onside, but he can't beat mid-wicket. So 10 off the over, 33 without loss off 4. 96 needed from 96. That rate's come down to a runner ball. What will they be targeting realistically here, Alex? Could they
15?
15 overs, so what
Yeah.
about another 11 overs to get that 96? That's not too dramatic, is it?
No, I think that's sensible. And if you can do it quicker, obviously do it quicker. But In an ideal world, you want to get it done in 10, 12 overs. I saw Surrey chase down 108 in about 9 overs today.
Well, I'm pleased you saw that. Yes, I saw that too. It's tremendous, and it cements their position at the top of the Vitality T20 Blast South table. All of those matches, of course, every ball of every game in the Vitality T20 Blast brought to you on the BBC website, BBC Sport website and app. And oh yes, I forgot to tell you about smart speakers. Now this is an absolutely marvellous new invention. So if you'd wanted to listen to Surrey beat Glamorgan, you wouldn't have had very long to do it because Surrey obviously scored those runs very quickly. But if you had got in time, you could say, BBC Sounds, I want to hear Surrey versus Glamorgan, and then lo and behold, it would just come piped into your living room or wherever your smart speaker is. What a marvellous thing that is. Start of a new over. First ball from Harmeet Singh. Pumped down the ground. 1 bounce, 2 bounces for Johnson Charles. Jumps straight at the opportunity to lay into Harmeet Singh. And he does so well. 37 without loss.
Well, you know your outside edge probably isn't in danger with a ball like that. Quite a slingy action. So you know it's just going to be straight. It's going to slide on. It's in the slot. Johnson Charles back down the ground for 4.
Too full, wasn't it? Too easy. There is a long on back. Now he goes for sort of slap into the offside to a wide-ish ball that just rolls up towards Stephen Taylor at mid-off.
He's got very peculiar action.
He has, hasn't he? Yeah.
His release point is actually quite high.
Comes in once more, and this is crisply driven past his right hand down towards long on. For a single, 38 without loss. Try and describe it. It's just sort of skippy and weird.
Yeah, it's skippy, but his release point's actually pretty decent. It can probably be slightly lower. He's got a lovely seam position, but his front arm actually comes out more or less sideways, which you very rarely see. You want to, they talk about tucking your front arm into your side.
And where does his go? Across?
Yeah, it goes
like
across, but it's
elbow.
almost quite straight. So
Yeah.
he has a straight front arm, like he doesn't bend it at all. But as I say, his release point's lovely, so you don't want to really mess with that because it's effective.
He's in again, and going again. This time Shea Hope, it's not got all of it, it's driven it through extra cover, it's running away towards the boundary, it will be cut off just inside the boundary. They've only run 2, not great running from these two. It was in the air for a while, it had a couple of fielders interested, but then evaded them both, and they pick up that couple. Definitely going hard at this, the West Indies, without a doubt. 40 without loss off 4.4. Remember, they lost to England with about 16 balls to spare. They'd love to claw that back. That's what they're looking at here. Next ball driven up to long off for a single. 41 without loss. And then that would take their net run rate potentially above England's if they get to do that. Then that gives them a chance if they beat South Africa. That would obviously affect South Africa's net run rate. And then if England were to beat the USA, could be, weirdly enough, you could find South Africa going out despite losing their first 2 games, winning their first 2 games, as this ball comes into the pads and is just rolled off the back foot out towards a wide, long on. 5 overs have gone. The West Indies, it's not been an explosive start, but there's been some explosive shots. A couple of big sixes, one over the top of the Garfield Sobers Pavilion, one sort of into it. 42 without loss after 5. Shea Hope has returned to the team, 31 off 19. Johnson Charles, 10 off 11. More from Alex Hartley. Then to take you through the next 5 overs. It's going to be Fuzzy Mohammed.
Yeah, Shea Hope's been impressive. Johnson Charles hasn't really faced many deliveries, only the 11, as you just said, Dan. So he's playing more of the anchor role in this partnership. But when one of you is going, you've got to give them the strike, let them carry on. Shea Hope into the side through the injury of King, who's been ruled out of this World Cup, so that's unfortunate for him. In the previous game, went down against England and went off straight away, and you knew it was pretty bad, but Shea Hope is doing a job for his team here.
Absolutely, and obvious intent for the West Indies to not just get the victory, which is paramount, but with a good enough run rate that could boost their chances of moving into the semi-finals. Shadlivan Shalvik comes on now from the Joel Garner end. First delivery stroked away out towards long on by Johnson Charles. He moves on to 11. Hope is on 31. It's 43 without loss at the start of over number 6. That's after the Americans were restricted to 128 all out of 19.5 overs, a top score of just 29 from Andre's House, and 3 wickets apiece for Andre Russell and local boy Roston Chase here in his native Barbados, as is Shea Hope, who's facing up now to Van Schalvik, driving in the gap between extra cover and the mid-off, really launched into that all along the ground. Another boundary for Hope, who's on to 35, his 4th 4 to go with 2 sixes, 47 without loss in the 6th over.
What a glorious cover drive that was as well. Little bit unconventional as he clears the front leg. It's the slower ball, back of the hand slower ball, runs his fingers down the side of it, clears his front leg and slaps the ball through the covers. It's a lovely delivery. Puts pressure on the bowler almost straight away.
He is very much one of the enigmas of West Indies cricket, is Shea Hope, because it wasn't too long ago he was seen as the future of Test match batting for the West Indies. Van Schalvik bowls him, he's punching this one away again firmly, but this time to Aaron Jones at the extra cover. Indeed, when he was in England and had that famous performance in the Headingley Test match, hundreds in both innings in 2017, when his fellow Barbadian Craig Brathwaite got 190 odd, and then he got a half century in dicey conditions at Lord's. It was certainly felt that he was the future of Test match batting for the West Indies. Van Schalvik bowls and he's hoisting that one away over cover. This isn't Test match batting, it's one-day T20 type stuff. White ball cricket at its very best. Shea Hope smashing that one over cover for his 3rd 6. He's up to 41, 53 without loss in the 6th.
That is absolutely outrageous from Hope. Absolutely outrageous. Gets down on one knee, underneath the ball, hits the ball up and over extra cover. It's wide, it's there to be hit. But the fact he's on one knee, he's down, looking almost like a sweep shot, but plays it straight over extra cover. To manage to hit that for 6, that's pure timing. That's the best shot of the night.
He's relishing the opportunity in front of his own fans here at Kensington Oval. And Schalvik bowls short. He's pulling this back past the bowler, out towards the long on. Won't get the boundary, has to settle on the single. Was probably looking to go a bit straighter, but in the end, he's content to go on to 1 with the 42 with that single. Johnson Charles has been pedestrian by comparison. He hasn't had much of the strike. In fact, Hope has faced 23 deliveries to Johnson Charles' 12, 54 without loss in the 6th over. Last ball of the over now from Van Schalvik, bowled short of a length and is guided away. That's going to run away for 4 as well. So even as we're seeing the power and the timing of Shea Hope in this over, also the subtlety and the angles from Johnson Charles. 16 runs coming off the over, and after 6 overs, the West Indies are racing towards their target at 58 without loss, chasing 129.
Johnson Charles just rubbing salt in the wound in that over, isn't it? It's a great shot from Johnson Charles, cross-seam delivery. It angles back in towards him, it nips off the pitch, and he just opens the face of his bat and guides it past short third for 4. And that is not a good over for USA.
Very expensive indeed, the first from Van Schalvik. Harmeet Singh 1 over for 9 runs, and really Aaron Jones running out of opportunities and options now to really restrain the West Indies, because they haven't gotten even anywhere close to that powerful middle order and the lower order and those power hitters, because the top 2 of Shea Hope and Johnson Charles looking to take their team closer and closer to that target. The power play overs are completed. Allows 3 more fielders outside the 30-yard circle. Will that make any difference, though, to restraining this pair of Hope and Charles, as Harmeet Singh will continue into his 2nd over. His first cost 9 runs as he bowls with that very awkward action of his, and it's punched away out towards Aaron Jones at extra cover. It's almost as if he's depriving himself of the full arm action. It's almost a semi-round arm type of action, Harmeet Singh. And very little body action involved as well, as it's punched away out towards deep cover. Should be able to come back for a second. They do. And he moves on now to 44, Shea Hope.
I think the thing why it looks so strange is because often as a spinner you're told to get really side on, but he's actually such a front on bowler. So he doesn't use his body, he doesn't turn his hips, doesn't use his shoulders. So he looks strange, but he's all front on rather than side on.
Yeah, it does look strange. But he's striking this one high, over long off. It's another 6 for Shea Hope. He goes up to 50 and really relishing this opportunity to deliver for the West Indies at the top of the order. He's missed out on the early matches in this World T20. He's gotten the chance. He's 50 of 26 balls, 4 fours, 4 sixes, 66 without loss in the 7.
Yeah, and every time he plays a shot, I keep thinking it was the best of the night. But what a 50 this has been from Hope into the side in replacement of King. And he's put the pressure on USA. But not only that, he's got the West Indies off to an